This will be the first generation that will be poorer than their parents.
The rate of youth unemployment rockets above 50%.
It's a movement of young people who want change.
But turned violent after hundreds of demonstrators clashed with
Young
police.
Somalis resoundingly want to be heard and want to participate.
Our generation, the millennials today, are the first generation in the history that could eradicate extreme poverty. But guess what? We're the last generation that could reverse the climate change. My name is Ahmad Alhendawi, and I'm the United Nations Secretary General's Envoy in Youth. I'm from Jordan originally, and I've been working youth issues for over 15 years now. Part of my job is to make sure that we defend the rights and the interests of this generation of young people in all the processes happening at the United Nations. That's extremely important. Why it's difficult sometimes for millennials to engage with the UN? Let me say something here. The UN can be intimidating. It's too complicated sometimes. All these processes are too technical. We need to make the UN more accessible to young people.
Can you describe what you think the United Nations does?
Do you have ID?
It's a bunch of different leaders. They gather at this one place.
I don't know. I really don't know a lot about what they do recently. I think we need more information about it. We don't get much.
When you have an organization so big, bureaucracy and all these other matters can get in kind of the way.
Inside the UN, even though there are rules, I still think there are people that have more power than others. That's maybe a problem.
So far, I traveled to over 60 countries, and I use every single visit to discuss how we can improve the situation of young people at the national level. There's a message that I'm championing here, that young people are not the problem or not the liability, they are the opportunity, and by protecting their rights also to participate actively, that's the way to integrate them in their societies and to have their energy channeled for the common good of the society. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We want people that we can relate to, people that we feel accessible to, and most importantly, people who, when they say what they say, whether it's fact or opinion, are transparent and accountable.
What we really hope to do as an office, and what we do as an office, is really validate youth voices by putting them at the center of decision-making, of policy conversations. We use these voices to really find a way to create an inroad for deeper conversations that, again, young people don't have access to often.
This September, the world will agree on what we call them the Sustainable Development Goals.
The Sustainable Development Goals are a set of objectives intended to transform the world by 2030. The goals will shape policies and agendas for all UN member states in areas of major importance, such as environmental sustainability, extreme poverty, and human equality. These goals are supremely ambitious, and Ahmad believes that enabling youth participation is essential to their achievement.
Look up, because the future generation is raising their voice.
There should be some people who are interested with the task of talking to youth organizations, talking to young people around the world, and carrying their messages.
In my life, I have experienced terrorism, displacement, and denial from education. And these are the tragedies that millions of children are still suffering. The world needs a change. Promise us that you will keep your commitments and invest in our future. Promise that every child will have the right to safe, free, and quality primary and secondary education. Thank you so much.
We want to build a global youth movement to implement the Sustainable Development Goals and to make sure that 15 years from now, we will be the generation who would be proudly saying, we have done it. We have to unite, and we have to partner and put young people at the center. We have to invest more in this largest generation of young people the world has ever known. Young people themselves, they have also to come forward 2015 is a year with a promise, a bold commitment for the 15 years to come. We can change the course of history. Nobody can do everything, but everyone can do something.